What do I use? I bought the hardware from some guy in the SM64 speedrun Discord named Retromancy. It's just this box. My cord's not long enough to lift it up into the frame, but it's just a little switch, like a toggle switch in front of me. And the software I use is RetroSpy. And yeah, the controller that I've been using for the past while, the shell finally started to like crack a little bit and break. And it was still like usable, but also the stick was starting to wear down. It was about time to re-grease the stick, clean it out, all the dust and grease that's been building up. And I decided to change the gate that I use. So some of my angles are a little bit different. Yo, thank you, Phantom. So like before, I used to have a watermelon red and Diehawk's translucent black bottom, and I switched back to my gold shell, which I used to use a while back. But I kept the buttons the same, I kept the pads the same. But even so, because it's in a different shell, the feel of the buttons is going to be slightly different. So I just need to adjust to that a little bit. It's not like that big of a deal. So it's not really that major. I think the stick angles matter a little bit more though. There's a few things that I've found out already. Like the tablespin cancel already is a change. Very small change, but it is different. There's gonna be a lot of small things like that. No, it's not drastic. I can show the difference in a moment after this fight. Yo, Shiver, congrats on redeeming nothing. Nice watch streak, by the way, Phantom. Here's the difference. Here is my old stick. My old controller in the old shell. And here's the new one. So the angles are very slightly different. And the feel, so the old stick, it was getting to be time for some maintenance anyway, in my opinion. And it just so happened that my shell started to break around that time too, so it was kind of due for this. I also tightened the nib on the stick a little bit because there were some places on the old controller I was starting to see some snapback. That was messing me up. Specifically after leaving chapter 2, you have to jump on a rock and get a hidden Thunder Rage. And you want to be facing... You enter the room from the right, but you jump on the rock and you want to turn to face right again. So that the item goes left. That's what you want. But it kept giving me snapback, so I would try to turn to the right, but he would turn back facing left and make the item go the wrong way. And when that item goes the wrong way, you have to either do an extra spin or delay your spin a lot to reach the loading zone. So that was messing me up a little bit. Hopefully that's no longer a problem. But little adjustments like that, it changes a little bit how outpost jump feels. Because you need to make really small movements with the stick for outpost jump. But I did practice it some. I don't think it's that different, really. But I just have to remember. The main thing is that upright. The upright on my old stick, it was getting to be a lot further up than right. At some point, it was close to even or like one value off in favor of up, but it shifted too much. And I don't like that. I prefer my angles to be wider than taller. Really, none of this matters that much. Like, it shouldn't matter to most people. But I'm picky. Yep. You have to, so you line up against the wall of the house right away to get a consistent position, like consistent Z coordinate. And from that position, you want to tap down on the stick, like barely out of neutral like this, like barely tap for one frame. And that's the frame that you can get onto the pole. Or that's the spot you can get onto the pole from. To land on the high position. You can make it, if you tap down 2 frames, then you'll be a little bit lower, but you can still land on the lower part of the pole and make it up. Alright, better RNG this time, surely. Oh, dude. Nice, much better. Yeah, it's definitely, it's a dumb trick, I don't like it. It might be my least favorite trick in the category. Sometimes I feel crazy good with it, and other times I suck at doing it fast. And I feel like a lot of it can be controller dependent. Like how easy it is for you to move down, like barely down for one frame. And also, additionally, to get onto the pole, you have to be very sure that you're jumping straight right. Like if you're jumping slightly up or slightly down, then you're done. You're not gonna land on the pole, and it's gonna ruin your alignment because it's gonna push you out, so you have to go back and line up again. And it's just extra slow. And that was a cause of failure for a little bit, like a week ago, until I figured out that that was what I was doing wrong. That's crazy.